Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the 10,000 Minute Experiment podcast. My name's Tim Timmons, and we've got a really great show for you to listen and hopefully engage with. Today we've got one of my good friends named Patrick Mayberry, who is an incredible songwriter, and he's a new artist with Centricity Records. But he's actually one of my favorite people to write with and just to be with, so I think you will love him as much as I do. And if you're new to this podcast, really the order is that we just have a few minutes of just total dumbness. I think it's funny, so hopefully you do too. And if you don't, just skip forward a few minutes and we'll dive into how the experiment went this past week and what we learned from it. And then we do this 10,000 questions thing with our guest, which is dumb and funny. And then after that, we will go into what the next week's experiment will be. And we'll just kind of riff on that for a bit and have a lot of fun and also invite each other into a pretty powerful experiment. So thanks again. Here we go. Okay, everybody, welcome to 10,000 Minutes Experiment.
Woo!
This is Tim Timmons. Thank you very much. I finally did it right. To my right, the lovely Moy.
That's me. Hi.
What's up, Moy?
Hi.
To my hard far left.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, hard left.
Does that make sense?
I'm in.
Is Chris Cleveland.
What's up?
We should just call you Stars Go Dim.
Don't do it. Band names are so stupid.
Why don't you go by Chris Cleveland?
I don't think I ever did was the problem.
Yeah.
And then there were people that
Now you got t-shirts
wanted
and
it.
stuff.
I got to sell the merch first.
Yeah.
Once we're out of this run, then it's just Chris from now on.
Just Chris. Gosh,
Yeah.
that's a good band name.
Just Chris.
And then to my immediate, is that a good way to say it? Instead of my hard left? My immediate left is a gentleman named Patrick Mayberry.
Amen.
So last week, you want to tell
It's
what?
great. Yeah. So he said that you were coming, and I thought that you were a different Mayberry. So I started making jokes about accents.
Yeah.
And you don't have one. So I was going to try to come in with the great Australian accent. But I try hard, but it comes across real bad.
It was just a whole bit because he's like, he has a cool accent. Can you give us your best real accent?
What kind of accent?
Go Russian right now. Come on.
I'm so happy to.
That's not a good one. That's more like Schwarzenegger.
I think
I'm
say
excited that you even tried.
to be here today.
It's the most
It
aggressive
is great to be here today.
Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us.
It's so bad.
My name is Dolph Lundgren.
Okay, give
Is
us
he
your
Russian?
best Aussie accent.
Hey, g'day there, Tim.
That was pretty good.
Guys, I'm having so much fun right now.
That's
I first met Patrick on a writing trip.
God, we did. We shared a room together.
We shared a room together.
A shoebox.
Yes. It
With
was on
two
a
twin
Maverick
beds,
City
and we could reach
writing
across
thing.
and squeeze each other's hands.
So this dork and I we shared a room, and the best part was there was this guy that sleptwalked.
I forgot about
Would
that.
tell that story.
Yeah. We were both asleep. We were staying in this house. There was a lot of people staying in this house.
Yeah.
There
There were like 30 people staying in this one
I woke
house,
up
yeah.
and
It's in Atlanta.
yes. And I woke up in the middle of the night and there's Tim resting soundly. And this dude just comes in our room. Kind of an odd dude.
Yeah, but he was staring at you, wasn't
And
he?
he was like very disoriented and and I don't know if he was sleepwalking, but he was just in our room for a hot minute. And I was kind of like, what's happening right now?
Have you guys heard about the stories where people murder people in their sleep?
Well,
Like, people have sleep driven, sleep murdered, sleep drove back home.
we were a step away from that in Atlanta.
I'm so glad you guys are still here.
Yes, me too.
Man.
I didn't even think it was going to be
It's
that
a
bad.
thing. Yeah. It can go downhill. My wife only listens to murder podcasts, so
Yeah.
I know a lot by
Could have
proxy.
been the start of one.
We're pretty street smart at our house.
So that's what this is going to be, this episode.
Yeah, but
murder
that was
episode.
it. That's where the magic began.
Yeah. Patrick is an amazing songwriter. Now you have a song out right now on radio, doing well on the radios.
Why not, right?
So great. What's it
YOLO.
called?
Breakthrough Miracle Power.
Awesome.
Big name.
So go
Big
check it out,
songs
everybody.
Needs big names.
But Patrick is a wonderful human. Great dad, great friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anywho, all right, we're going to dive into this next week's experiment. But before we do, we're going to hear a little section of the song Roar that Patrick and I wrote that this experiment is actually based on.
Right now I'm picking up praise. 'Cause
Okay, so the idea was instead of picking up worry this week or any of the, we had said worry, fear, disgust, judgment, that we would actually pick up praise. And the definition of praise was affirming God's goodness, power, and his nearness in the midst of our chaos and in the mundane. So how did it go?
That was an impressive look. You can't see it, but Moy was giving me eyes over here. Was that like a you go first look?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
please do,
of
'cause
the
it was hard
because
for
of
me.
the week, it was harder.
Yeah, so I want to hear about yours because it'll encourage my heart.
Well, I don't know if it will, but we'll try. Okay, am I going first? I kind of struggle with this anyways.
Yeah.
Because it made me think of a couple things. When I was a kid, I feel like I was the epitome of what a sheltered Christian kid is. Like, grew up in church. My parents were pastors, and I was all in. So I would, talk to God all day. Somewhere I just lost that, right? It reminded me a little bit of that, of just being cognizant of an ever-present God. In my mind, it was more of, just acknowledging God where I saw him.
Yeah.
Or felt him. So it wasn't like this big thing. So it's all my analogies have to do with my kids because that's just the season we're in. So we had an awesome weekend this weekend. Literally crazy. It was just really cool. So I just found myself in those moments just trying to say, God, thank you for this. Even backtracking from, I'm still on the breathe in, Jesus, breathe out thing because it's just worked really well for me.
Yeah.
Just to update you, my Sunday shame text from Apple that shows me all my stuff, I was down 35% on my phone, so I'm pretty great.
Wow, these practices really do
Bro, yeah.
Changing our lives.
But yeah, I think it was just for me, it was more about small moments that I could catch a glimpse of okay, God, you've really brought me somewhere and you've really blessed our family, or in the midst of all of this, you're working. So I see you and thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I take it back. Maybe it wasn't easy, but I think it's easier when you're doing it with people. So I think Sunday was easy to praise because everyone else was also praising.
Yeah.
But Friday, Saturday, those were hard days. I was just going through a lot of imposter syndrome. I just talked about my need to be perfect, and
on last week's podcast.
Last week, we talked about where our attention goes and how that's worship. I was having a hard 2 days, and then Sunday, being with people, proclaiming our faith was very good for my soul. And we talked about, where our attention goes pulls us to where we're present instead of always thinking about tomorrow or the future. And I think Sunday was a good day of grounding for me. I think I realized how much I don't praise as well. Where I'm man, my attention really is everywhere.
Yeah.
I do worship other things. And I was reading a study on praise. I'm a researcher. So I could do these things, but if I don't know the core, the origin, all that stuff, I feel really lost. And I was reading about how praise was also a sacrifice in certain parts of the Bible. It was an offering you had to bring. And so I felt like this weekend was a moment for me to sacrifice, bring an offering of praise, not just pick it up.
What's the difference, and what does that mean in real human language?
I think for me, it's the acknowledging that I'm sacrificing my own strength and my own need to be perfect to acknowledge who God is.
The idea of putting that on the table, saying, God, take this.
Yeah, a giving, not so much.
Yeah.
I picked it up and now what do I do with it?
Yeah.
It was more of it's a gift. What I'm doing is proclaiming my faith. And that itself is a moment of sacrificing whatever I had my attention on or whatever I was fully focused on.
Yeah.
So that kind of changed my perspective of picking up praise or praise in general. Because before I'd be yes, there's so many reasons to really say who God is. But I had a weekend where I was my mind is so on me.
Yeah.
But being with people and praising collectively was really good. Of man, this is a truth all the time.
Yeah.
Thinking of it as an offering, that's something new for me, I think. I was wow. In the study, it was saying how praise is an essential part, if not the center part of worship. So to come and obviously receive from a God we believe in and we love, it's also about giving that acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And I don't do that often. I'm oops. I trust and I say who you are, but I'm never really delighting in it.
In him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a change in focus. What do you pick up first? Do you pick up worry? Do you pick up sarcasm most often? Do you pick up anger? What do you pick up?
Yeah, I think for me, for sure, it's worry. It's worry rooted in a lot of probably self-consciousness, rooted in like just forgetfulness of who I think I am, who I think God is. It's forgetfulness of what I've seen God do thus far in my life and, in other people's lives, things I've heard about, or even like, reading stories in the Bible of like, God did that, God did this. I feel like at times I'm like, I said this to a friend last week, I feel like I'm like a modern day Israelite where God will do something crazy, mind-blowing on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I think he's like forsaken me and left me. And so how is this going to pan out tomorrow? So I think worry is a big thing for me, and how will tomorrow work itself out? Like my pastor always says, God is faithful, we are forgetful, and I'm the king of that. And so I have to remind myself, if God got me this far, why would he ditch me now? So I wish I were better at practicing praise. I wish I had a better daily practice of kind of what you said, is like that offering it to God, but also reminding myself. I think that's what I need the most, is to remind myself, no, God, you are faithful. God, you are good. You are for me. Like, this is what is true about you, and this is what you say is true about me.
Yeah. That was what was hard for me this week. I wish that the practice actually wasn't picking up praise. I wish it would have been just affirming God in the moment for who is he in the moment. Because I kept, I wrote down, it didn't work for me in conflict, either conflict with my wife or conflict with my kids, which never happens, neither of those. So that's cool. I mean, I got that going for me.
That's Old Testament.
It's total Old Testament. Now it's new creation. But in all these conflicts or things that I'm having with my family right now, or work stuff, or any of these things that are not going the way that I'm wanting to. Right. And especially when they get me in this place of like, I'm really pissed at this moment. This isn't just like, my cat peed on the whatever. And by the way, I do not like cats.
Thanks for sharing it.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate this as a safe
If a
place.
cat were human size, it would kill you. It would eat you.
I thought you were about to say it would be
like,
me. And I'm like, oh,
like
okay. That's cool.
Your house cat that you own, that is your pet that you care for, I fully believe that it would eat its master.
Eat you.
It'd be like, you're nothing to me. I'm going to kill you.
I agree.
Wow.
You can't turn your back on a cat ever. Conflict with a cat.
With a cat.
That's where we were. That's where we were.
I've actually had conflicts with my dog, and I have a lot of strong words that I say every day about my dog.
Like praise words.
Affirming.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Not a lot of affirmations or praise. That's a different podcast. So it's been a hard week for me to see this, because I kept going, okay, in this moment, Tim, I'd see my X on my wrist and I'd go, okay, don't pick up worry on this. Or what are you experiencing in this, Tim? And every time I'm just like, I'm mad. And I know that anger is a second emotion. Like, I know that. Yet in that moment, I'm like, nope, I'm going to live right here. This is the best place to live. Yeah. This is the most helpful thing. Yeah, I will actually want to be in that place.
I want to choose to stay here for a while.
Yeah.
I wish that we had said, pick up affirmation or practice affirmation. Like, it was more of this understanding of who is God in this moment.
Yeah.
That's where I landed. And so I by the end of the time, I started landing at that place of going, okay, I'm really mad about this, or I'm really offended by this. Okay, God, who am I going to believe and live as though it's true that you are this? You have been faithful in this. You do love this person. You are at work in this situation. And that's when it started actually changing for me. So the first part of the week was actually, I was a little discouraged by it. I told you guys that I'm building this wall in here, trying to put up these shelves. And I mean, I put so many holes in this. I mean, you can see them right over there. Just they're strong holes.
They look good.
And then the dumb screw would not. It kept breaking off, and I'm like, I'm putting holes in my wall. Anyways, it's so trivial, but even in the mundane. So that was the whole point. Like in the chaos and in the mundane, and that's kind of mundane. I mean, that's just a hole in my wall in my studio. But even in that moment, who is God? Who am I to him? What actually matters, Tim, in this moment versus what I'm starting to get all freaked out about? And I mean, I'm literally worrying about a hole in my studio wall.
Do you find yourself spinning out on things that don't matter more than things that matter? Because I do. Like, if it has like little to no consequence, I can lose my mind. But if it's important, I can kind of like
Really?
like pull it together. But yeah, most of the things that I freak out about don't matter at all.
What is that?
That's weird. I have no idea. I got to go deeper there somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's like I'd lose my mind about the holes.
Yeah.
And then my wife would come in and it's like, it's a hole. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I know.
I don't know. I mean, we're humans, so it's
Right.
like in the little things. Sometimes we forget that God actually likes those things too and cares about those things.
Yeah, I
and-
think it's maybe easier to give God the big stuff.
It's like
because
you
we
can
can't handle it.
and you ramp
Yeah.
yourself up for.
Oh,
it
I know I
more.
can't do this. God, you got it, and
Yeah.
you can kind of walk away. The little stuff are like, I'm supposed to be able to like put a hole in the wall
Yeah.
without losing my mind.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I think the interesting thing about these practices is it's taking the small stuff captive and giving it back.
Yeah.
Being cognizant of that. So even like picking up praise is like, how do I find this in the mundane?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and all of this stuff. I'm really guilty as a 3 and an achiever and like all of these things of just plowing through
Yeah.
and doing my thing. And I'm not very good. And this is with people, with God, with like everything, of even giving space for input or anything else to come in. So that's why I actually enjoy these things, even though I feel like I copped out a little bit on this week. But it is making me mindful of the small moments and where I should give my attention to.
Yeah. Okay, so the question we're asking every week is, when was it easy or difficult to do this with Jesus or for Jesus? I found myself, it was maybe 70 with, 30 for him. And the for him was kind of like, well, I'm going to do this because it's what we're doing together. It was more obligatory, which even in and of itself was actually still helpful for me because it still stopped me. It made me kind of go, what matters here? And if I'm going to affirm God in this moment, and I think when I was doing it for him, so the difference, Patrick, that I'm always talking about the idea of working for God or walking with him. And that I've worked for him most of my life, which got me just to an exhausted place. So the more that I'm walking with him, changing my life. So even in these practices, they can just be this religious duty thing that we do that is empty and stupid at some point. But did you guys find that at all?
I'll share, and I'll probably go down a tangent, but I think being a dad of 4 kids, I think God is showing me so much grace with how many imperfections I have in the way I father my kids. It's almost like he's amplifying the imperfections to show me how perfect he is.
What's that look like?
I had a great dad growing up, but I see like just human imperfections and, in how that shaped the way I view my relationship with God. And I think I'm actually like thankful because the way that I feel like it could have been different with my relationship with my dad, I feel like God's like, what if that were the thing so that I could show you how I'm actually like perfect? And that's not how I'll do it. Now that I'm a dad to my kids, I'm actually having more grace with myself in the imperfections because that's going to teach my kids that I'm not perfect, but that their Heavenly Father is. So when you say like doing things for God or doing things with God, I feel like I'm in this new revelation of doing things with God because I think of all the ways that I want to do things with my kids. I recently heard this podcast or a sermon about God giving us gifts, and if this guy was sharing like it was his kid's birthday, he wanted to get his kid a baseball. That's all the kid wanted. And he's like, no, my kid doesn't deserve a baseball, but I want him to have a baseball because I love him and I want him to enjoy it, and I want to throw a baseball with him. And something clicked for me with music and life. It's like God gave me these gifts because what if he wants to enjoy them with me?
Wow,
Not that I use them necessarily for him and for his kingdom and his church, sure. But like, what if his number one goal was like, God, I just want to do something with you. So I'm going to give you the gift of carpentry, or I'm going to give you the gift of computer programming, or I'm going to give you the gift of music because I just want to do them with you.
I love that.
So I haven't mastered that at all, but that's reframing the way I think about how I'm doing life and being a dad and a husband. And it's like I see all these gifts God's given me, And it's like, what if God's like, I gave them to you because I want to do them with you. I want to hang out with you because I love you. You're my son. And so it's like blowing my mind a little bit in this season.
So just for fun, how different would our days be if that was our aim? Like, what mood would change? How would your conversations change?
Yeah.
Your energy, your cravings, your attention.
I know I just talked a bunch, but I think it'd be wildly different. It's like, you know, if you told your kid, hey, tomorrow, you're not going to school. I want you to go upstairs, pack a backpack, and we're going on an adventure. Mm-hmm. My boy's like, we'll go to the skate park, we'll go get ice cream, we'll go do something. They would be consumed with that all night long. They wouldn't be able to sleep because they're like, I'm going to spend the day with my dad or my mom, and we're just going to go do something crazy. That would shift everything for them. So it's like, what if we as adults could get to that spot where we're like, all right, I'm going to go pack my backpack tonight because tomorrow I'm going to do something crazy with my father. Versus like, oh, I got to go out there and work hard and do the thing. And I think that's the danger we've gotten into, is like, it's become so much about like, well, I got to get out there and do this and do that and do this, and maybe God will like me at the end of the day. We just forget. It's like, well, I'll just go on and do my thing and forget that like God actually wants to spend time with us.
I mean, that is the definition of for versus with. And even in the idea of affirmation or praise, saying hallelujah, it's affirming God for X, Y, or Z. I'm actually affirming him by saying, you are loving. You want to be with me. You are safe. You are mindful of me. You're near.
You actually like me.
Yeah.
I don't have to work for you, earn anything from you. How would that be us affirming God?
Yeah, I think that's kind of goes in hand with like a little bit of what I was starting to figure out. It's like, oh, this is like what you had in store for me. I've been working so hard for all this other stuff, and I didn't even know it. It's just what I got brought up in and learned from, and like saw other people do. So I'm gonna go do that too. So it's just a interesting place where like faith meets real life, and I feel like maybe a lot of us were sold this faith that really didn't have anything to do with real life. That's the journey I'm on, at least.
I love it.
Seeing it and figuring it out.
I love it. I mean, that's the whole point of this whole thing. Is I think we all know all the right answers and all the things, and we could throw a million cliches out there, but to live some of those cliches is a really different story in 10,000 minutes, you know?
Yep.
So if you have practiced this with us this past week, you can let us know how that went. And if you have not and you're just binge listening, why don't you practice this? And for me, it was most helpful to practice praise by practice just affirming who he is in that moment, or even saying, what is this? What do I even actually believe about who you are, God, in this moment? When I'm worrying, what does it actually mean that I believe about you? So practice that with us and let us know how that goes. And we are going to take a quick snack break, and we'll be right back with some sweet questions for you, Mr. Patrick.
Yes.
And some words from our sponsors. 10,000 Minutes is brought to you by AutoZone. Get down there now, AutoZone.
Wow.
Get in the zone with AutoZone.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, cut.
Pretty good.
Okay, so we're
That was
back.
beauty.
We're back. It's been quite a
So
snack
much
break.
useless information in brains is what that
much dumbery.
is.
I didn't get a snack.
Yeah. Well,
I thought when you said it's a snack break, my mind really went, oh, we're going to get snacks.
You're supposed to
for other-
pack
That is
it.
so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't text you.
And we did not get any snacks.
well, yeah. Okay, so these are 10,000 questions.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Speed round.
I love that.
Speed round.
I love for that.
Describe yourself in 3 words. This is a speed round.
Fun, too much energy, and I'm just here for a good time.
Let me ask one more
good
time.
movie.
Describe yourself with 3 words.
I'm just here for a good time.
Sweet.
Ask me one more time. One more time.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
I'm just here for a good time.
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. What is one of the things you would put on your bucket list?
I would like to do like 2 weeks in like a 60-foot sailboat in the Caribbean.
Is it like in the water or you docked?
Oh no, we're like
You're sailing.
hopping around.
Have you done that before?
No. It's a bucket. I want to put it on my. It's on my bucket.
It's in my
list.
bucket.
Do you know how to sail?
Kinda.
Is what I mean.
No, it's
Yeah,
on the bucket
perfect.
list. I mean, if I were like, I'm gonna go out and mow the yard, like that
No,
wouldn't be
I'm-
a good bucket list. You got to go high.
You gotta go high.
It's like
Unless
gonna,
you've like
I'm gonna
been
get a,
high.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get
the whole
a,
time.
I'm gonna get a black belt.
Ooh,
in karate.
I do have a
It's
black
like you
belt.
have to
That's
aspire
doable.
a bucket list, you know.
I once lived with a Taekwondo grandmaster.
What?
He could kill you.
Overheard. Yeah.
Oh man, it was so incredible. 7th degree. You get 7th degree, you're like God.
He can look at you and
in
kill
Korea.
you.
Oh, dude, he could. It was so scary. He was training for the U.S. Open and the World Championships. He won them while I was with him. And it would take like 12 of us, would like double padded up, and we'd just run in, and he'd like knock us out, and we'd just like get up and just it was just a round, and he was going like 25%, the whole time.
Do you have a video of this?
I have videos. I'll show you.
Yeah, we might need to post
That's
that.
great.
Well, I did overhear Moise say that she has a black belt.
I do.
Whoa,
I'm
in
first
what?
degree.
Are you serious?
In Wateroo.
In
What?
Wateroo.
Wait,
What
tell
is
us about
that?
that, please. I
I
am
got
like,
it when I was 12. So I
What is it? What like type?
Wateroo. I wish I
water.
They-
Wateroo, which I think means
Wateroo.
open hand, or maybe karate means open
That
hand.
if
But
you want to talk martial arts or magic, I get so fired up.
martial
magic
art
tricks.
and magic.
Now that.
Hey.
So wait.
Side podcast.
Let's
keep
just-
going.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
an idea kind of person.
So you were like, was it
So-
like ground stuff, or you're like you
Yes.
can punch, chop?
I can flip you over. It
Wow.
hurt today.
That is so
but I-
fun.
Yeah,
and now
right.
you're like,
Yeah.
hey,
Don't mess with
walk
me.
up to me in a parking lot and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wateroo.
until I
Pressure points.
say I got it when I was 12.
fine.
It's not that scary anymore.
But you've got it. You've still
yeah,
got
belt
like it's all
doesn't
in here,
fade.
guys.
it. Do you
More
have
is a
your
black belt.
hands registered as lethal weapons?
Strong.
Don't put them in your pockets.
No,
Actually, they
not in
just
these streets.
open concealed carry in Tennessee, so you're
Right.
good.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Wateroo, you silly.
I've never heard of water. I keep wanting to say Waterloo.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a different
It's a
one.
different thing.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't have black belts in that one.
All together. Okay. Any pet peeves?
Yeah, I literally thought of one yesterday. Shoot, I forgot it, and I remember I was like, you know what? I don't have a lot of pet peeves, but I remembered I was like, I'm gonna mark this one. This is a pet peeve, but I can't remember what it is.
You're gonna mark this? Where do you mark it?
In my
gotta list
brain.
it.
So, like, I have different
Mental
questions.
note.
Different question. Where do you mark your pet peeves?
In my brain.
Yeah,
Okay. And apparently it doesn't
Beside
work.
the
It
bucket
doesn't
list.
work. I forgot about
That's
it.
a pet peeve of mine.
It'll come back to me, and then I will
Yeah, we'll do an
email you.
addendum to
I'll
this.
email you
Yeah,
guys.
Gosh, that's so powerful.
just a voice memo.
I actually don't have a lot of pet peeves.
That's impressive.
What about people coming in their bedroom, looking at you, staring at you?
That's just weird. That
Yeah.
makes for a great story. I'm okay with it.
Okay, if you had access to a time machine, where and when would you go?
Oh, I think it would be really fun to see what the pirates were doing. I think I have a pirate affinity.
okay. It's
Jimmy,
a
I
boat
love
thing.
Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
And so the
why'd you like
Caribbean.
Chris? Chris's long hair and like
Well,
the
we were
band
talking
does.
about
No, we were
sailing a
talking
second
about
ago.
sailing
In the Caribbean.
and yeah, like 1600s I think could be interesting.
Yeah.
But it'd also be cool to go back to the 80s and see like what I was doing as a kid. I have a lot, or the 60s, or the 70s.
Okay,
Basically
name one
every time.
frame.
Yeah,
Basically, every time I
Right.
haven't been, I'd love
I'd
to
probably
see.
go back to yesterday.
Yeah.
Last one. Do you have a favorite joke?
I love great jokes. I love them, and I actually like when I'm leading worship. I like to open with a joke.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
good.
break
That's-
the ice.
It really. Why didn't? If you know it, don't answer it. Why did the koala bear not get into bear school?
I don't know. Why did the koala bear not get into bear school?
Do you know it?
I don't know it.
Do you guys know
I
it?
think I know it.
He wasn't qualified.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so. It was right there. It was so easy. I was like, koala bears like hug the tree.
Just
like, I
feel
was like
stupid
going
now.
really deep in my mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It was a good one.
There you go.
Wow.
You're just getting it.
It's
just
the kind
now.
of joke that will sneak up
yeah, I'm
later
still
in the
trying to-
day. You're gonna laugh just
About-
out of nowhere.
This
Wasn't a panda, it
afternoon,
was
you're
a-
going to be
Rolling.
getting dinner prep ready.
Yep,
Yeah.
and this
Because
just
you-
hits you.
And then you're just going to be like,
Qualified.
Qualified. that jokester.
Spell qualified.
Qualified.
Oh, like the real one.
Yeah.
I was going.
I know. I was like
Koala.
K-O.
Yeah.
Yeah. K.
Qualified.
Koala.
We can finish this word
L-A.
together.
Well,
L-I.
Five. Sound it out.
Get back to this. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh, I can do this.
Already did that
I can
one.
describe you. Pirates, magic,
here
karate.
for a good time.
Yes, that was great.
I got you.
Okay, so we're about to move on to the pre-experiment, but Patrick, thank you for
Yeah,
joining us.
guys.
Part of this.
Thank you for having
Magical.
me here.
Did amazing.
I love you, Tim.
I love you, Patrick.
You're the best. You're the best thing that's happened to me in a long time.
You get your snack now.
Okay, so now we're going to jump into the experiment for this next week. But before we do, would you subscribe to this if you're digging it, if it's actually helpful for you? Or rate this, please, or leave a comment if it's good. That would be awesome. And if you want to get some free text messages that encourage you during the week, on your phone, dial the number 55678, and then in the subject, you put 10K. So to the number 55678, put 10K. Or go to 10,000minutes.com for all other information. Okay, so welcome back. 10,000 Minutes Experiment.
Yes.
You're winning.
We're totally winning. So this is the pre-experiment section.
Yes.
Yes.
So Patrick left, and nobody likes that guy, really.
He
No.
was.
A little too much. He's bad attitude.
Yeah, a lot of energy, like
Yeah.
you said.
Angry.
He was okay.
Arrogant.
Yeah, he like talked about himself a
Yeah.
lot when we were talking about ourselves.
So
Yeah.
true.
And I don't know why he would do that.
I just love finding out more information about both of you. So, well, you're a black belt, and you also,
Yeah, Patrick who?
gosh,
So, Mayberry.
yeah,
Mayberry.
Mayberry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you do your best Russian accent?
No.
Gosh,
Yeah.
like, please
There's
don't
some
pick me.
things I
Please
would go
don't pick me.
for. and-
$50.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great job.
Well, I just wow, that just came right out.
Overwhelmed me.
Wow, Patrick missed out.
Okay, so we're gonna walk through just the beginning of this next experiment, and just see what we learn, and then we'll try it out for a week
Okay.
for the next 10,000 minutes until we gather again. Okay, so
Are you making sure all these podcasts are 80 minutes long?
no, but that's good math.
Okay.
Okay, what's your wake up routine?
It's usually like the eyes open.
I'll speak for my body first.
Yeah,
I don't know why I go to the dumbest thing I can possibly
What do you-
say in most moments.
no, I'm that's why we're on this together.
You want it.
What I wish my wake up
No,
routine was and what it actually is.
Enneagram 3 showing.
Usually, it's either my wife or my kids waking me up in some way I don't want to be woken up. I realized this weekend that because I woke up like and saw the sunrise,
Yeah.
and I was like, babe, I was meant to be a morning person, but I haven't been since I met you.
Yeah,
And so I blamed it on her a little.
wow. Yeah, that's good. That's
rough.
this is
But she kind
marriage
of like
101.
owned it. She was fine with it. We don't have a routine. Usually it's like this morning the alarm goes off and then we hit the snooze and it keeps going off. Our kids are already up getting whatever breakfast they want, tearing the house up.
Yep.
And then we're like, oh shoot, they've got to be at school in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we get up and run around like crazy. That's
Gosh.
basically every morning.
What a good morning.
Yeah. Except Saturdays where the kids get iPads because no shame and we sleep a little longer.
Yep, it's great.
That's
fine.
nice.
So, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Since
Generally.
we started this podcast,
Yeah.
for real, it's been like acknowledging the Jesus thing. It's been like, man, thanks God, like, and it gets me in a good mood.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does. And it's like, don't look at your phone. Don't look at your phone. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. Okay, Moy, what about you? First thing when you wake up?
I look at my phone.
Yeah. Oh, no. This,
Don't pick me,
there's
don't
no
pick
shame.
me.
No shame to
No.
this whatsoever.
Yes, I snooze a lot. It's really bad.
Okay, so you just push
Yes.
the snooze button on your phone?
Yes,
Okay.
it's really bad. I'll look at my phone for a little. I check in, social
What do you go-
media.
what do you go straight to?
I think I go straight to Discord.
Okay.
What is
Do you
that?
guys have Discord?
No.
So it's like
It's a karate app.
communities.
It's only something that karate
I'm just
people
like
do.
quizzing
Waterloo.
myself in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like a Slack but for gamers, and so
Okay.
like all these people I hang out with, I'll
Yeah.
just check in to see what people have written or like if people are playing tonight, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I move
See if
into
they beat your high score.
Right. Pac-Man.
yeah, because those are the games we're playing,
Yeah.
But no, then I go to Instagram, check Instagram for
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I finally get up and then I dance. I dance for a
I
few
love
minutes.
that.
Gosh.
Pop in the AirPod. I mean, hopefully, like we talked last time, hopefully my roommate's gone. I'll dance.
Yeah.
Pop in some AirPods and then do that for a bit. And then I make the coffee. And then I make some kind of scrambled egg or,
Wow.
Huevos a la mexicana.
Sí, como no.
Sounds fancy, but it's really just like tomato and onion in there. And the end. And then I go straight to my iPad and I start work.
Okay.
That's a thing.
That's my morning.
Okay.
Wow.
My morning routine, gosh, has changed so many times, but I can't not wake up at 6 o'clock or 6:30.
Yeah.
And then I roll
Wow.
over and I get my phone and then I check the grams. I check the news just because I know that somebody's going to say, "Did you hear about this?" I'm like, "No." Yeah, that's what I do. And then I hope that my wife will get up at some point and go take the dog out to.
Yeah. Do you ever play
things.
like you're sleeping so you don't
No,
have to be
I'm
the
not-
one?
I'm not good at that.
I don't do that either.
Yes.
Asking
So
for a
happy you said
friend.
that like that. Have you ever done that? Nope, I haven't either.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. Those people are idiots.
Hate those people.
Pet peeve.
I will take the dog out. Oh, the dog. That just takes a long time. And then I try to work out right away. And everybody, I used to work out at a great gym called D1 out here. It's this CrossFit
Yeah?
thing. It's so great. And
going
there are
pro?
a few reasons. No, not like Moy. A few reasons why I quit. But now I've got Christy Brinkley and I and Chuck Norris. We work out every
Yeah,
morning.
baby.
Because I've got a total gym, I think it's called.
Yeah. Those
And-
things are for real.
Yeah. I mean, well, obviously,
What
hello, are you looking
what
at me
incline
ripped?
do you put that baby on?
It's
you
all the way up. Yeah, it's all the way
wow.
up. So I do a lot of that, and you guys, I mean, maybe more we could. Well, I don't know if that's not
Talk
okay.
to me.
But I kind of do my own like jazzercise, and I watch a movie because it's in our movie room, and so I do like all these like aerobic things that are so stupid. And at some point, somebody needs to come in with a little video camera just to like catch me.
I think you should
Say
start
less.
a TikTok that's just that.
Oh my gosh,
It would be
is
so good.
It would be so embarrassing for people to walk in.
You make more money off that than any music you've ever made.
That's probably true. Because these are some
we laugh
good moves.
because it hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
We laugh because we want to cry right now.
Okay, so with our wake up routines, how does that shape your morning or shape your day?
Oh, it's everything. I get in moods and stay in them. And if I get woken up wrong, like it's tough to come out of like a bad mood in the morning. So like being able to center and focus and do that like, pretty quickly. I've noticed a drastic difference just in the last couple weeks of just mood. You know, it's crazy.
Love that. This week, we're going to jump into this idea. So this is the last podcast on my songs. And this is the song called This Is the Day. It's written through Psalm 118. We've heard this scripture all our lives. Like, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And it's always been such almost a happy-go-lucky.
This is the
Yeah.
This is old
The day the Lord
school.
has made, Lord has- It's almost like this past week where I felt like when I was praising, I was almost putting my head in the sand, going, "Oh, nope, this stuff isn't happening. God, you're good." You know, that was the danger in that.
Canceling out.
This week, the practice is actually joining Jesus in our days. I mean, it's that simple. It's joining Jesus. But it's really this heart of Psalm 118. And as I looked at Psalm 118, which we don't really know who the writer of Psalm 118 is, as they're writing this psalm, the beginning and the end, it is in this chaotic, dangerous, scary time that they write this psalm.
Yeah.
And that just started changing the way that I thought about this idea of this is the day that you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. So I want to just talk through that for a second. How do you guys hear that scripture? How have you heard that scripture? What would it look like for us to start our day? So my dad would always say when I was growing up, in the mornings, we can either wake up in the morning and say, "Good God, it's morning." Or, kids wake you up, or you got to take the dog out, or whatever it is. Or your dance shoes broke. Or we say, "Good morning, God. What do you have?" Like it was.
Yeah.
It's just always stuck with me. This idea of "Good God, it's morning," or "Good morning, God. What do you have today? How do I join you in this day?" And this week, my hope is that we would actually just really make that our practice, starting from the beginning of the day through the end of the day, just to say, instead of "Good God, it's morning," it's like, "Okay, good morning, God. You woke me up again. What do you have for me today? To see, to learn, to love." The practice is really just joining Jesus in every circumstance from waking up till bed. So for me, when I write my X on my wrist every day, it is my reminder for a few things. One of them is just that I woke up again today.
Yep.
You know, with my cancer journey, that has been one of the greatest things that's helped me kind of through all this stuff. Is going, okay, I don't know about tomorrow, but like I got up again today. So it's my little reminder all day long that you woke up again, man. And you're not supposed to even be here.
Yeah.
And then the other reason I write that is to remind me of the practice that we're doing. But that's when I wake up with that instead of going straight to my phone and letting that disciple me, because we're being discipled by things all day long.
Yeah.
You know, so it sounds like, oh, who's discipling you? And it's like, well, the news is discipling me and shaping my heart. All the things.
Yep.
My frustration with my dog starts discipling me, you know?
Somebody said, maybe it was it Jane Goodall of all people? The gorilla lady? You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Yeah. I didn't really know either, but it was, she like has dedicated her life to gorillas like in Africa and stuff. Like
I call her Janie G.
Sure, Janie G.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it was her. I don't know. Could have been someone else.
Give it to her.
They were like, I think we were given a gift that sometimes people only at the brink of death have, where you're like, okay, I can't take any of this time for granted. What's really important to me now in life? What are the things I'm going to worship with my time? What are all these things? And to me, when I think about it, I'm like, oh, that's really what Jesus wanted us to do. Like when he talks about the kingdom of heaven and even some of these things and eternal life, when he talks about that in scripture, really he's talking about like a fulfilled life. And so when I think about that and through the context of that, it's like, wow, like waking up and being with Jesus in those moments or living the life that he really wanted us to live and acknowledging him in all of that, actually like being present for your life and not missing it. So like dancing in the morning for 45 minutes is amazing. I don't know that I could ever do it. Like jazzercising while you're Chuck Norris out.
I mean,
do you wear a headband?
I do not. Only on our walks do I wear a headband.
Come on, baby.
What are we being shaped by all day? I mean, that's another whole practice of just acknowledging what's actually shaping us. But I just believe that in the mornings, just because I know it from experience, we all know this, that how we start our day actually kind of matters. And then where our attention is during the day matters. But it's more than just attention now. It's going, you know, each of these are kind of building on each other, but it's where are we giving our attention, and then how do we just join them in it starting from the very beginning? And it doesn't have to be some crazy quiet time that, you know, is always the elusive. It's
never good at that.
Yeah, shame-filled thing that is beautiful. I mean, to sit and read scripture, I mean, how great, but it's more about even just aligning our hearts to him all day long, starting from the morning.
So how do we do that other than just saying like, God, thanks for this day? How much more is it than that?
Chris, I was just thinking about the same thing. And I think the way that I want to try to wake up this week, and maybe you guys can have other thoughts. No, you're not allowed to. Okay. The way that I would like to wake up this week is just stopping. I go straight to my phone.
Yeah.
That's how I do. And I want to stop and actually just thank him for some things, just talk through my day, even if it's like a minute or 2 minutes. It's just a pausing and recentering of my heart for the day.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to practice this week.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What would help you?
I think it would help me to practice with somebody. I might invite somebody to do it with me and just be like, and just text each other in the morning. Like that's the first thing we do.
It's cool.
I think that would help me because I'm so in my head. So I know I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, I'm not doing this right. And this isn't working. And I chose this instead. But if I had someone who was giving me feedback or just walking like in real time, like, no. I mean, I think you did. I think you're practicing it. You're taking moments to do it. It would change me then like, I have to figure this out on my own.
Yeah. Awesome, Moy. So that'll be fun to see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how it's like more than just like a gratitude moment. And maybe that's what it is. But I think for me, it just makes so much of a difference to take a second before I even open my eyes.
And kind of going back with what Patrick said, maybe waking up and taking a moment like, this is going to be an adventurous day. Like, I'm with you today.
Yeah.
And if it's crap,
What is it?
was still an adventure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like I was still with you. I wasn't alone.
Yep.
And I think that kind of shows why I want to do it with someone, because
Yeah.
I'll feel alone if I do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just me, myself, and I sharpening myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, or, you know, I'm seeing Jesus be with me through my friend for
Yeah.
a week or whatever.
A couple days ago, the day that I woke up early and I just loved it,
Yeah.
I beat my kids awake. I didn't beat them awake.
Golly, that came across.
But I woke up prior to
You
my
won.
children waking up.
Say less.
I just like what I like to do is just go in there and spank them to wake them up. They're just big.
We just lost half of our
Yeah,
demographic.
that's so good, Chris. That's so great. I just beat my kids
beat them awake.
Yeah.
Gotta
It
hold the
doesn't.
crowd.
Some of them takes long. I'm not gonna stop, man. We could get so far into this. I woke up before my kids.
thank you.
Doesn't happen very often.
Well said.
They're just the sweetest in that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like right when they're sweeter than they ever are during
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking about like what Patrick said. Even it's like, oh, like those moments me with my kids, or maybe like those moments we can give God that are like the sweetest before He beats us out of bed with real life.
No, that's great, Chris. I love that. That's a good pull. So, for you people listening, what does that look like for you? Whether it's you calling somebody else or texting somebody else, or just starting your day with thankfulness, or starting your day just saying, Jesus, how do I join you? And then it's through your day, what's reminding you to just stay with Him. Just keep joining Him in what He's doing instead of inviting Him into what you're doing. That's my hope that this kind of plays out all the way through. So
Yeah.
this is an experiment, and we will see how this sucker goes.
All right.
Sweet.
So you'll listen to us next week, or if you're binging, you're going to listen to us in the next minutes.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere.
Thank you, Moy.
No problem.
Thank
This
you,
is fun.
Chris.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Right on. Everything is awesome.